Ringside crew. Welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe, Panther III.
What a year. What a year. I've started this journey in the end of March. And now I've interviewed so many wrestlers. This is the season 3 finale, part 1. And I've been wanting to have this woman on the podcast for at least 2 years. And we've been waiting to do this, but today is the best day because it's the 23rd of December. And it's the day before Christmas Eve. And I wanted to do this now because it's so awesome. Welcome to the Ringside podcast. Honor.
Hello, thanks for having me. I know it took forever, but we finally made it.
I know. So, if my American fans are familiar with you, introduce yourself.
My name is Lory. I'm Germany's best kept secret. I've been wrestling all over the world, Europe, and now are based in Belgium again. I lived for the last 8 years in England, so I've done a lot of my matches over in England. But yeah, hi.
Hi, Lory. Welcome. So, who trains you?
So over the years, I had different trainers, but one of the main people who did actually train me is my partner. His name is the Bull, Robin Lekeem. He trained me most of the time, and I also been trained by Saraya Knight. So you see where my kind of style of wrestling comes from.
Oh yeah. I saw you do some throwdown stuff. So let's go way back. What were you thinking the first time you walked into the training and sat down?
So the very first time when I actually started out with wrestling is I walked into a sports hall, not actually knowing what was going to happen, and there was no wrestling ring. So the actual training happened on mats, not particularly judo mats, but the more kind of softer ones that go in between before you then go on those huge mats where they do trampoline jumps off and all that stuff. But yeah, there was no wrestling ring. So yeah, I just went with the flow. I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. So I just went in there and just done it.
So let's flash a little forward. What was your energy like for your very first match?
Oh God, I'm gonna have to think so far back. Like I said, my first wrestling match I can't actually properly remember anymore. But like I said, it didn't happen in a ring. It happened on those mats, so there were no ropes, no proper corners. So yeah, it was improvising and just knowing the basics and stuff. But I think even back in the day when I was still didn't have a clue at all what I was doing or why I was doing it. I think back in the day I started hitting hard already, so I think I just stuck with it.
So with your style, is there any wrestler that you've been wanting to young wrestling team that you want to work in the UK countries or in Germany that you really want to work with? You haven't yet?
I do have an opponent I really, really would love to step in the ring with. However, she is neither European nor English. She's actually living in the States. So it would be Mercedes Martinez.
Ooh.
It's one of the one of the names. It's like we met each other on a tour in Australia, and I was wrestling Madison Eagles in the main event for the championship she was holding, and Mercedes on that night was wrestling Saraya Knight in a singles match. But the day after, they still had another show, and they put like the team Bellatrix, which was Saraya Knight's team, against the Australian team. And Mercedes was the secret weapon, you can say, for that day, because she just came back from being out of injury as well. And it was her first match back, and no one knew about it. So it was a total surprise. And we had like a little bit we could do against each other in that 4-women tag match. And we loved it. We were on the same kind of level of like, just hit me, don't care, just do it. We're not here to like play around. That was the first thing. So we got along really well. We stayed in contact throughout all this time. We ride each other on occasion. And she then came over to England for Bellatrix as well. And there again, it was the team Bellatrix against Team Rise, which was like the developmental thing for Shimmer. And we had this little kind of thing again with each other in that match, but we never ever had a singles match, and we both would love to step in the ring with each other. We just never had the chance. But yeah, that's one of the person.
So you work with Saraya. What kind of advice did she give you? Put like into your aggressive wrestling style.
She did give me a lot of advice. She brought the aggression out in me. She definitely did throughout the training. She's seen that I am not a person who is like holding back on people, but I on the same side, I expect exactly the same back from my opponent. So if I hit you hard, just hit me hard back. That's just the way I've been brought up. Be it now being trained by Saraya or be it trained by my partner Robin. It's always this make it look as real as possible kind of thing. And I think that's what I love about it so much, and that's why my style is so like people. There's a lot of guys on the indie scene in England who are literally like, holy moly, I'm gonna have to step in the ring with Lory. They're actually going in with this like anticipation. They don't know what's going to happen. But yeah.
So right now, currently, down with an injury. Like, do you want to?
Yeah.
Talk about that today?
Yeah, sure. It's not a secret. So it's out in the open. Everyone knows. I mean, there's still a lot of people who don't know about it because I still get inquiries being sent over for bookings, even though I'm not in the ring at the moment. But yeah, it's I'm having a back injury, if you can say injury. Really, it's a trapped nerve in my lower spine. So I'm in pain on a daily basis. It got way better already. So to go back to December 2021, it's basically when it happened. So it wasn't a month where there was actually no wrestling whatsoever. So it didn't even happen in the ring. It was just getting out of bed one morning, trying to stand up, and I just couldn't. I had this pain shooting through my back into my left leg, and it it didn't make me or didn't let me stand up straight. So I was hunched over for quite a long time. It's like it took ages in the morning to be able to stand up straight, or even like put socks on or whatever. So but being a wrestler, a lot of times you just go like, oh, it will be better. It will get better. Don't worry. I do not need to see a doctor for it. It will be all right. Yeah, however, it didn't happen with me. So throughout the time, it didn't get better. The pain got worse. And I made the decision, I keep on wrestling. So I wrestled throughout 2022 with this pain in my back. And in, I think it was towards the middle of 2022, where I was like, okay, it's not getting any better. I do need to see someone and just let's see what it actually is, because I didn't really had a clue what it was. So in England, the healthcare is free. So I went to see my doctor, and actually, well, I didn't actually see my doctor. That was the thing, because of the whole Corona thing that was still going on. They were only like, you couldn't just walk into your doctor's and get an appointment or whatever, or just see someone. No, you had to wait for an appointment. That took weeks to actually see the doctor. He didn't actually see me then. It was a phone appointment, so it was all talked about the phone. So I said what was going on, what the pain was, and all that stuff. And without seeing me, my doctor put me on a month-long circle of painkillers, like heavy-duty painkillers, and not seeing me whatsoever. And then he was like, okay, if this is not helping or whatever, come and see me back after a month. But the painkillers, like I said, they were heavy duty. They made me feel woozy. They made me feel like I wasn't really in this world anymore. But most of all, they did not touch the pain whatsoever. So that was where I came to the point of like, I almost finished the month of painkillers, but I just took myself off of them. I was like, I do not want to take these painkillers and feel the way I was feeling and still not knowing what was actually going on. So I took myself off it, called my doctor again, and literally demanded to see him. It's like, I do not want to talk to you over the phone. I want to have a face-to-face appointment to actually be able to show you what was going on with me, because I could not bend over. I could not put my socks on the way I used to. I barely could do anything. So he's seen me, and once he's seen me, he was like, oh yeah, so it's actually worse than what I thought it would be. And I literally said to him, it's like, I told you about this, but you did not want to see me or didn't want to do anything about it. So he then made an appointment for me to go and book in an MRI. So I was able to actually get behind it, get to know what the problem was. However, everything just took so long. It's unbelievable. The time from when I've seen my doctor to actually be able to do this MRI, there were months in between. So, and then when the time came to do this MRI, on the day I wanted to go, I got a message, and it's like, oh, the mobile unit has broken down, so we have to postpone the appointment for the MRI. And I was just like, this is just a joke. This can't be true. So it was, I think it was a week or 2 weeks after that the MRI was finally being done. Then having to wait again up to 10, 15 days for the result from the MRI. So as you can see, the time just is running over months. And when I got the result back, it was a a disc in my lower back that is pushing on my sciatic nerve, and it's just botched. It doesn't move, so it sits there, and it just sends these pain signals through my sciatic nerve down my left leg. So once I've seen my doctor again with the results from the MRI, he gave me 3 choices. So he said, continue doing your sports therapy you were doing, because I made on my own. I went to go and see a sports massageist, a therapist, to go and help me trying to mobilize a bit better. The other option was get a injection in your back that literally blocks the nerve, so the pain that's been sent down in like your nerve in your leg is being blocked out. Or the last option was operation. And I immediately said, like, no, it's not happening. I'm not having the operation, and I really do not feel like having a huge needle shoved down my back. So I was like, okay, I'm going to keep doing the sports massage slash therapist thing and see how it goes. It did get a little bit better in that time. It did a little bit. However, not good enough for me to be satisfied. So I had a talk with my partner, as well with my best friend, which is Becca and Dutch. I had a talk with them as well. And Becca, being a nurse, then told me, it's like, maybe you should go for the option of getting the injection in your back, see how it goes. It might help you so you're not in too much pain. And my partner said the same thing. He was like, well, obviously the sports therapist is only doing so much, but not enough. So I went, contacted the doctor again and said, like, okay, right, I will try this injection and we'll see how that goes. But I'm still on the thing, like, I do not want to have an operation. That's literally last resort, not happening. And they were like, okay, let's book the appointment in. And they did. And I took my best friend Becca with me, because I'm not really a big fan of needles, especially if they get shoved down my back. So I was nervous. I was panicking, because I didn't know what to expect, what is going to happen. So I took her with me. She had no choice. And thank God she was with me, because I walked in there and the first thing I needed to do was like, I need to go to the toilet. So I was just nervous, really, really nervous. And when I came back, she talked already to the doctor and said, like, look, she's nervous. She's not like the biggest fan of needles. So she doesn't know what is going to happen. But throughout the procedure, the doctors who were doing it were absolutely perfect. They calmed me down. They talked to me about random shit. So I did not actually know what was going on my back. So they were absolutely like saviors that day, honestly, besides my best friend being there. She wasn't even allowed to be with me in the room at that point. So I had to go through it by myself. But she was coming back in, because I said, like, once everything was done, the whole thing took maybe like 5 minutes. That was it. So it just happened all so quick. It didn't hurt. It didn't hurt. And yeah, I think I just broke out in tears afterwards. But like,
that's crazy, because like
that's crazy, because like you guys,
that's your livelihood.
So
with it being the end of the year for the podcast, for you, like with you going with your back and stuff like that, if there's any young wrestling fans watching, or like young wrestlers watching this from America or the UK, if they wanted to get into the business, what kind of advice could you give them?
The advice I would give is, first of all, find a good training school. It should be a training school that looks after you and not just taking the money from you, but actually, the whole shebang that comes with it. And throughout my time, or my career time of being in the ring for so long, I have neglected my body a lot. So I haven't looked after it in a way of like having proper sports massages. I just kept going and going and going, and I think it's with me now on a point where my body says like, it's enough, look after yourself. So if you're young and you just break into your wrestling career, do as much training as you can. Go to different schools if you want to, because you learn the same, but you might learn it a different way. You learn new things. People always teach the same, but maybe different, if that makes sense. And look after your body, honestly. Don't go out there and jump off the top ropes with no clue what you were doing, how to land or anything. Learn your basics, learn how to protect your body, learn how to protect the body of your opponent. You can do so much without going crazy all the time. So yeah, just look after your body.
So one more question before we go. If you could write a letter to your younger self, what would be in that letter?
Basically, pretty much the same I just said about like if you're young and you just break into the wrestling business. But I think I would have written to my old self this, like, no matter what people say about you, let them talk. You or me, it's like the only person that knows what is going on. I've heard like horrible things when I started out in my wrestling career, because I was really, really skinny. And fans on the internet and stuff just called me, like, at one point someone said I'm a heroin addict, the way I was looking. So it's like there's so much horror on the internet by fans towards the performers, and you get bullied a lot, especially as a female. And if I would have been the way I'm now, if I would have been the same back in the day, I think it maybe would have turned out a bit different. But don't give up. Let people talk. In the end, it's like, you as the person doing the performance or whatever, you know what you're doing and why you're doing it. You cannot please every fan. It's just not possible. But just don't give up. Just stick to yourself. Do what you know is best for you, especially, and just keep moving forward. Let them talk.
Lory, I want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And I would like to thank you so much for helping me close out season 3 of the internationally known Dude the Ringside podcast. If my fans would like to follow you on social media, how can they find you?
How can they find me? You can either check out my Instagram, which you can find me under _Lory_87. Or you can come and follow me on Facebook. Need to send me a friend request though, which is under Lory Born Ready. Or on Twitter, which is, or X, it's called X now, isn't it? X, yeah. Just find me under Lory Wrestler.
If anybody wants to pick up anything from Lory, like merch or stickers or anything, do you have any requests?
I still have a few pictures or whatever left here, which obviously I cannot sell at the moment. But if you're interested, feel free to just pop me a message on either of them socials, or send me an email, which I'll also link in my socials, and I will get back to you. It might take a few days because at the moment I'm rather busy, but yeah, I will get back to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lory. I much appreciate it. And thank you for sharing your story. It is so awesome. And fans, I want to thank you for coming and hanging out again. At the end of March, I did my, with each other, me and my old partner. And I'm so glad you came and gave me this awesome support. And in 2024, I hope you guys help me out. Don't forget a nice follow on social media in all places. Definitely give her a subscribe on YouTube. And definitely subscribe to the Joe Panther Variety Show if you haven't already subscribed. And like this video. I'm Joe Panther the Third. Your turn, Lory. She's Lory. And we will catch you in the next one. See you next year.